Welcome back to The Truth About Pack Parenting, Part 3. In this video, we're going to discuss the human half of how all of this comes together. And at the very end, we will be discussing when it's time to finally introduce your new dog to the pack face to face. I hope that you've enjoyed all of this information, and I'm really excited to have you back. And I'm glad that you've taken these important steps to better understand the relationship between humans and dogs, and to create a more harmonious house for you and the existing dogs, or the newcomer. I hope you enjoy. Humans, we're fickle things, you know. We want the glitz, the glam, the flashy, and we live in a world of I need it now. We want the best makeup money can buy, the smoothest skin the lotion can provide. We want everything that comes with the glitz and glam of today's society. Flashy cars, expensive jewelry, designer handbags and watches and wallets and shoes too. We want all of the designer clothes, and we want to own as much as possible. How many designer shoes can we squeeze into one closet? What is the difference between human and dogs? You see dogs wearing fancy dog collars, designer clothes, and the most glorious dog beds and care that one could ask for. It costs about $90 for a 20-pound bag of overpriced dog food, and we reach to those without question. Why is this? Because the dogs don't care if they have the newest and the bluest and the girliest and the shiniest. As a matter of fact, most dogs would eat poop off of a sidewalk if you let them. So why do we do these things for our dog when it's not something that they need? This is humans' needs. These are not the needs of a dog. Dogs are much better than people, and they require so little. We need it all, and we're never satisfied. However, dogs are satisfied with the most minimal things, and all too often, those of whom are purchasing all these high-end products are forgetting the most important things that a dog truly needs to be happy, all for their own human satisfaction and gratification. Dogs do not need these things, and we have to stop humanizing dogs if we want the kind of relationship and the peace and harmony that we know dogs can provide for us. Dogs require so little. They don't need to go to the mall for the weekend. They're not asking for more money. They cost much less than a college tuition. However, we still neglect to provide for their most essential needs. Dogs' needs are very simple, and they're very minimalist. A good walk. Be able to explore. Understand their pack leader, and have their pack leader understand them. They want to have a safe place to lay. They want to have a resting space. They want their needs to be provided for and shown the way. It doesn't take much to make a dog happy, and yet we buy them all of these things as if they're one of our own. Why is that? We're getting lost in the huffle and buffle of need this, need this, need this. And all too often we get phone calls on behavioral issues. My dog has anxiety. My dog is aggressive. And now, to make matters worse, how many prescriptions can we get our dog to take because they have what we call anxiety? We're neglecting the dog's most basic and essential needs, and we are forgetting that they're dogs. Nature is a very resilient concept. Nature provides for itself all too often. In the wild, a wolf does not have access to prednisone. A wolf does not have access to Zoloft. A wolf does not have access to antidepressant medication. And a wolf does not have anxiety. Why is this? In the wild, or in large groups of unowned wild dogs roaming streets, say in Mexico. The dogs are very happy. They're not pacing and racing. They're not upset about anything. They have had to wander and walk and move to find food. This is natural to a dog. They've had to work at that. They've had to find a place to go. They've had to take down their prey. They've had their needs fulfilled for feeding. After the feeding ritual is done, they have taken the exercise to get to said location, and then they're looking for a safe place to lay. In the wild, this can be a brush, a random bush, underneath a newspaper, for goodness sake, or in a cardboard box. They don't require a glitz and glam to feel satisfied. The dogs are very content and happy because they themselves have fulfilled their needs that we have taken away from the dogs. A dog needs to feel as though it has a purpose, a job. It needs to work for its food and its satisfaction. Everything we do is given to people now. We give everybody our time. We give everybody our respect. We give everybody our money. We give everything to humans with no questions asked. And all your dog requests from you is your time and your guidance. How simple is that? Why do we get lost in the shuffle and hustle of today's world when the dogs can teach us so much about being calm and being at peace? Keep this in mind next time you're buying something fancy for your dog. Remember, there's nothing wrong with it. I can't tell you how many glitzy dog collars and funny dog clothes I have in my home. I have bought all of the things. I am responsible for all of those characteristics. However, they're my needs and they're not theirs. I need to provide for my dog the opportunity to explore and walk and exercise. I have to request focus and attention for my dog's feeding. I have to be patient and understanding and teach my dog exactly what I expect of it without the frustration that comes from not. I can't chase my dog around the house every time it does something incorrect. If a dog poops in the house, I just pick it up and move on. We can learn a lot from a dog. And the most important thing is to remain calm and be patient. The dogs can teach us so much if we just listen. We see these ads every day on social media or in the news of abuse and neglect. There are thousands upon thousands of rescue organizations and shelters out there to help these dogs. Among many of my followers and my own personal experiences, our foster dogs always have the saddest story to tell. But whose story is really more sad? The dog's, or the story in which we set up for them ourselves? I'm going to say this again. Whose story is really the most sad? In most cases, sure, the dogs never deserve to be abused, left behind, or neglected. During a massive hurricane, I loaded up a van single-handedly and transported them 17 and a half hours north to evacuate to ensure the safety of my pack. One person can do the job of so many others, and it takes one person to make a difference in the world. So I just want to take a moment to say, if you are a foster parent, if you are a rescue organization, if you're a shelter volunteer, I just want to say thank you. However, I need to make an important note. The looks on these abused dogs and the neglected faces, that needs to be in their past. If we hold on to so much hurt and so much pain and don't lead the way, the dogs will never be the same. We have an important opportunity to be able to repair and remold the damage that somebody else has done to these dogs. When it comes to saying no to a dog or taking something away, it's not because we're being mean or malicious. Because a dog has a sad past doesn't mean it needs a rampant future. A dog needs guidance, and when we take these dogs that have seen the worst case scenario and we bring them into our homes, into our hearts, they deserve the very best, and the best that we can give them is to move on so that they can move on. They don't reflect on their past. Dogs live in the moment. As long as we're stuck in the past with them, our dogs will never be whole, and we will always have some sort of limitation that's getting in between the dog's future and the progression. So I want to say thank you to everybody who helps in taking care of these poor, poor souls. But we have a responsibility to help them move on, and this includes fostering. The moment a dog leaves a shelter or a rescue organization, whether you adopt it or foster, we have a responsibility to show them a new way before problems occur. Don't be afraid of saying no. Somebody never was there to tell them no before. They just didn't. A dog respects guidance. They didn't respect the person who didn't give them anything, but they will respect the person who leads the way and gives them structure and guidance without resentment, without hesitation, and with all the love to give in the very end.
Stress. It happens to us all. This is one of my favorite phrases. Poop happens. Just pick it up and move on. The same is going to apply to stressors in relation to your dogs. Now, even if you're doing all of the right things, even if there's just not enough time in the day, just remember that dogs live in the moment. We can learn a lot from that. The shuffle and hustle of everyday life, the stress that comes along with it, no matter how obnoxious things get, guess what? There's always tomorrow. So remember that. If your dogs are kind of driving you crazy for the day, there's nothing wrong with just taking some time. Put them away or let them out to play and do some things that make you more relaxed. For instance, some days I'll just put on my headphones and walk around and listen to different YouTube videos on dog training. I'll listen to music. I'll leave the house for a little while and just decompress. As long as we're stressed, intense, the dogs will feel that, and they'll give us that right back. Every day is not going to be a great day, whether you're a dog or a human. Some days life just happens, and it's very important to just move on to the best of your ability. The dogs don't get involved in the drama and the gossip and the tension, the relationship problems, the work problems. They don't get involved in any of that. We can learn from them so much on those regards. Just move on to the best of your ability. Just say no. So when you're feeling stressed, or if the dogs are getting on your nerves a little bit, just take a few moments, enjoy the peace and silence, and there's nothing wrong with walking away and reapproaching something another day.
The time has finally come for you to introduce your two dogs, both the old and the new. We recommend that you take your two dogs, each individually or together with a friend, on a walk. Wear them down, get them a little less excited and amped up, and get ready to have a really fun time with your two new dogs. You've taken all the proper steps in changing your routines, your rituals. You've spent time with each one individually. They've eaten alongside each other, crated side by side. They've done walks together. They've known each other's presence. They've smelled each other silently. They're very well introduced already, and so now it's time for the fun stuff. If you have access to do so, I recommend taking a dog to someplace neutral. We have this awesome lake nearby that I absolutely love introducing new dogs into the roost. However, a backyard will be just fine. After the walk, you then go to that location. Go to whichever location of your choosing and just walk around with the dogs for a minute. Once the dogs have walked around and they've had a chance to eliminate, just take off their leashes and just walk away. Don't micromanage, but be aware. Don't be tense or stressed, and don't anticipate the worst. By now, they're going to be significantly less interested in one another because they've lived alongside each other side by side for so long, and you've taken the proper steps to show them that I won't let anything happen to you. I'm not here to let harm come to you. So the dogs will be much less excited than they were should you just come home, let a dog take over, and fling them in the backyard together. You've already created good boundaries, and you've restructured your lifestyle, and the dogs have new expectations. And so you've done all of the right things and followed the proper protocols to introduce to your existing dog, I won't let harm come to you. And you've done the right things for the new dog to show them it's fine. I've got it covered. Welcome to the family. Allow the dogs to have some time to roam, to sniff, and enjoy your new lifestyle with your new dogs. If there's ever a time where things seem to be a little tense or stressed, just simply, that's enough. Be matter of fact. Be assertive in what you request for that dog to stop doing. Now, assertive is just a matter of fact. We're not going to negotiate. I don't like that behavior. Just a loud buzz and a redirection is oftentimes for two neutral dogs all it takes to stop something. So remember, don't bring all the drama and the trauma and the tension into anything. Move on so the dogs can move on. Follow good exercise, routines, and rituals with your dogs, and you will have a phenomenal experience in watching and living alongside 2, 3, 4, or more dogs at a time. Once everything is done and everybody's introduced, they're going to be exhausted. So what are they going to be looking for next? A nice spot to lay. This is when all of our human affection really needs to become present. I know a lot of this seems very structured and guided and lots of routine and no you cannots. However, once again, we're here to enjoy our dogs. So the best dogs that we can possibly have are those that are respectful and mindful. So it's not about being harsh or being structured to the fullest extent. There's always time for love, affection, cuddles, exciting times, field trips, and lots of good snuggles. But we must not forget to do these things at the right time. Don't just love and affection only without a lot of these proper steps. This is how dogs become unstructured. This is how a lot of unwanted behaviors happen. Anxiety, aggression, reactivity. These are all unbalanced states of mind for dogs. And a lot of it is caused by neglecting the most simple things with our dog. So again, I'm never, ever would I say, don't love your dog. Don't buy it a pretty collar or a super fluffy dog bed. There's always a time and a place for all of these things, and they mean the world to us. And when we're happy and fulfilled, our dogs, they understand, they know, and they feel it. There's just a proper time and place for these things. So have your dog earn things. Show them the way and be a leader, because that's what it takes to have happy, healthy, responsible, and respectable dogs. And those are the dogs that we all dream of having. So I hope that this video has shown you a lot of new tips and tricks on to have and create peace and harmony within your home. I want everybody to be calm and just let go of some of the stress. We have enough of that in the world. Just relax, move on, and enjoy the time with your dogs and all the lessons that they can teach us. And don't forget to smile and say please and thank you. I want to thank everybody for taking the time to watch these videos. I hope that it's provided a lot of valuable information that just isn't really out there. I hope that you have learned a few new things to help better the relationship between you and your dogs. I hope that it's provided some insight and some guidance as you go through an adventure of adding another dog into your life. Dogs have so many lessons they can teach us if we just listen. I really want to thank everybody one last time. It means a lot to me. My name is Samantha Porter, and I have been dog training for over 12 years now. I have grown up with a large pack of dogs. A lot of my experience comes from shelter life and large quantities of dogs at all times, and now I can have my own pack that lives in harmony, happiness, and peace. I have a lot of first-hand experience on multiple dogs, and I'm so happy that I have learned all these lessons along the years and have had some great teachers, to include the dogs. If we just listen to what our dogs offer us, they have so many lessons to teach us. I hope that everybody will share this with family and friends and pass the information along to anybody they may know that is struggling or has a new dog coming into their life. And should anybody need any additional assistance, I'm absolutely happy to help. I thank you again for watching, and I hope you enjoy all your new experiences with your new pack.